Good morning. No answer to the same question. How many times will you learn the same lesson? You just gotta hold on and on. 'Cause we're gonna be legends. It's about to be legendary. We're gonna be legends. Gonna teach you all a lesson. Got this feeling in our souls we carry. It's about to be legendary. Morning all. How are we? I just stopped it literally just before this. Listen. This is what we came for. We couldn't want it anymore. Never turn back now. I mean, this song is so important. It's so important, that tune. To those of you that have known me a long time, you will know that I had the absolute privilege of spending some time with Gary Vaynerchuk back in the day. Gary V is huge in the media world. He's gone from zero to hero pretty much. And although I'm not necessarily aligned with him these days because I've gone down the path of much more spirituality, connecting to self, rather than this hard grind and like really keep pushing, I still love him for introducing me to that tune. Because when you actually listen to the words, now this tune, some of you will know, I just get, all of a sudden I get a song in my head and I'm like, okay, cool, I need to listen to that, or I need to look at the words of that. And this song is very prevalent for what we're going through right now. We are literally on the cusp of something freaking huge. And do you know what, guys? The other side of this, we are going to be legendary. We are going to go down in the history books. And I don't know about you guys, but that gives me goosebumps all over me. We are going to be it. We are going to be the new history. Your kids are going to be learning about how you stepped up and how you behaved and what you did during this time. And I don't know about you, but that deserves a huge thumbs up. We have got to be making sure that we are living in our truth, we are speaking our truth, and we are behaving exactly as we want our kids to remember us for doing. Now, I'm just going to say good morning to a few of you because I just want to say thank you. All of you are so observant. Honestly, I literally just put it out really late last night. I'm changing the time to 8:30. I meant to say it earlier on in the week, but things are happening. I'm attempting to move into another apartment again. And okay, good question, because everybody always asks me that, Rick. It's called Legendary, and it's by Welshie Arms. Welshie, literally Welshly, Welshie Arms, and it's literally called Legendary. Okay, and it's actually the soundtrack that Gary Vaynerchuk has been using for a very long time with all of his videos and stuff like that, and it's just amazing. Like, it's just a really good track, and if you stop and listen to it, it's a very important time for what we're going through right now. So like I was saying, now is about the time of really, what do we want our children to be seeing us? You know, I know in Australia, for example, it's so noisy over there at the moment. You know, they are literally being dragged up and, pushed into directions, and the fear porn is absolutely crazy. You know, we were shown over here in the UK all of these camps. I think that's the best way of putting it. Camps being popped up everywhere, when actually in reality they were new prisons being built. And you might be like, well, that's the same thing as a camp, Lucy. But the thing is the prisons over here in the UK are so derelict. To actually rebuild them would cost a lot more money than just building brand new ones. So the reason I'm bringing this into your consciousness is I feel that we just need to keep that balance. Okay, keep that balance. These people are panicking right now. They're panicking. They're literally clinging on for dear life because they know it's their last moments. This month has been absolutely huge. I cannot wait. Literally, I cannot wait. My point, Meredith, is, are they really building them? That's my point. And it's down to you to use your discernment. I don't know. All I'm saying is what's happening here in the UK. Okay, so use your discernment. Remember, things like that can really take you on a different path. Okay, really, really, really they literally can take you on a different path. Now, we had this fear porn going into our last winter. Like, literally, it was horrible. And this is why I really empathize with you guys, because we are witnessing you guys and girls over there being put through the mill, and it's not nice. It's not nice. And the only reason we're witnessing it is because of social media, rather than, actually seeing it on the news. Like, we want to see this stuff on the news. People need to see this stuff on the news, right? But it's not going to happen. This war is always about, literally, it is a media battle. It is a consciousness. Like, this is spiritual warfare. We are fighting for our freedom right now. We are literally having to step up and do things that we've never done before. I've never been to a protest. This time last year, I was leading protests. It's extremely, extremely interesting. We just need to bring it up into our consciousness that right now, this is an information war. You need to decide who the right people to be around are, where you want to be based, what you want to believe in. Now, there are so many people around the world that are believing, they are literally believing that everything that they're reading in the newspapers or they're seeing on the news is fact. I know, because you guys follow me, you have a level of consciousness where you're like, no, that's not true. Maybe not with all of it, and we were just talking about the camps, and Meredith has put, yeah, they're building them here too. And this is what we must recognize: is that really the reality? Is it? Is it really our reality? Because I've been speaking to a lot of people this weekend, and I just don't see a lot of the things that other people are seeing as my reality. So you decide your reality. And I think this is a really, really important message today. I'm sorry if it's a bit echoey, by the way. All of a sudden it's got really quiet outside, and it feels quite echoey in here. So hopefully you can hear me okay. And Lisa's bang on. You decide your timeline. Nobody can decide your timeline for you unless you are listening and making your decisions based on what other people are saying. So, for example, if you have this real truth inside of you that this situation just isn't right. This situation just isn't right. There's something not quite right about it. But your boss and your mum and whoever else is saying, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and you're listening because you want to keep the peace, or you're just complying, even though in yourself you don't necessarily believe it. That's what this is about. I have been talking about this for years. We must acknowledge our truth, even if it goes against everybody. And Keith has really, really been, Keith has been sharing some stuff with me privately recently, and he's having to make decisions. And not being disrespectful, Keith is an amazing man, but men will sometimes just do what she says, or just listen, because it's easier than actually having to step up and deal with the aftermath. Us girls, we have plenty of people to talk to. Like, we love a good chat. So, we're hearing all sides of it. But the fact that Keith is stepping up and saying, you know what, I need to protect myself right now. I need to just step away right now, and I need to figure out what is right for me, because we aren't going to be staying with the people that we've been born into their families necessarily going forwards. Guys, all of us believe we are the property of our parents. Most people that I know, that whether I coach them, whether they listen to my videos, whether they just follow me, whether they're friends, they believe their children are theirs, when quite frankly, they're not. Yes, you gave birth to them, but they chose to come through you as a vessel for their mission. Now, I picked incredible, incredible parents this lifetime. Why? Because I needed to be kept under wraps for as long as possible. I needed to make sure that I was being completely kept, almost like cloaked. And what my parents didn't realize is that they were offering me that opportunity to stay cloaked, until the moment in 2013 where the universe, spirit, my soul, whatever, decided that now is the time. You are going to awaken. You are going to say no. And some of you will remember my story. My mum, before I got on that plane in 2014 to go traveling, my mum told me that I was selfish. She told me the fact that I was leaving was extremely selfish because there was lots of challenges going on in our family at that particular time, you know. And I had to say, I love you, but no, I'm not taking it anymore. I'm not taking it on anymore. You guys are going through that now. Keith is stepping up and having to have that now. I love you, but you know what? I have to go and figure this out for myself. And this is why I share so openly with you guys, because yes, this is a very different situation. Yes, you know, I didn't know when I got on that plane, and I'm going to be real with you, and hopefully this will resonate with the current situation, but please be extremely conscious of the language that we're using as always. I got on that plane. I didn't know if my mum was going to survive. My mum's got many health issues. Anything could have happened. I literally could have, she literally could have died whilst I was away. My sister was going through huge challenges personally at the time. She could have died whilst I was away. And the reality of that, hang on, let me get my words right. The probability of that happening at that time was pretty huge, pretty huge. I wasn't speaking to my dad at that time. Anything could have happened to him. I didn't know. I just lost my granddad. But the thing is I had to make the decisions for me, and this is why some of you are having to make decisions. Now, honestly, I see that Keith has put, oh, it's heartbreaking. That's ego speaking. And I know I can say that to Keith. And you're okay to go through that, by the way. Remember, we're all going through ego death right now. The planet is going through an ego death right now. We are surrendering the control. Some people are clinging onto it for dear life. What we need to do right now is actually flip it on its head and say, okay, I don't like this. I love them. I pray for the best for them. However, what is it that you want me to do? Because remember, being separated from this is going to take you to a new level. Your message is in your mess, always. Always. Your message is in your mess. Now, I know my older sister watches my videos, and I hope she doesn't get angry with me for talking about this, but some of the best work I have ever done is with addicts. When somebody comes into my program and I can see instantly that they're addicted to cigarettes, or they're addicted to sugar, or they're addicted to sex, or they're addicted to attention, or they're addicted to their story, I can identify it immediately. Why? Because when I was literally just 16 years of age, my sister broke the news to me that she was going through challenges with addiction. It broke my heart, Keith. Broke my heart. 16 years of age, literally, it was like my heart had been ripped out. My sister was like, you know, anybody with an older brother or sister, you look up to them. You want the best for them. You want to follow in their footsteps, you know? And it broke my heart. Today, I look at my sister as one of my biggest teachers. I thank her every day energetically in my gratitudes, because if I hadn't got the experience and the expertise going through the many, many years of this journey with her, I wouldn't be able to recognize it instantly when people come into my life. I wouldn't pick up on the words. Your message is in your mess. Think about it. At 35 years of age in 2014, when I was going through, literally, my physical vessel was giving up on me. It was like, nah, we need to get her out of this. This was part of the awakening. You know, and I've been poorly for a very long time. A very long time. Since the age of 20, things had just been going wrong and going wrong and going wrong and like literally constantly. My message was in my mess. How have I managed to help people heal things? How do you think I managed to heal what was going on with my womb? And by the way, I've healed it again. just so you guys know. Some of you would have known that since I had the Rona, I was 18 days late with my period. And again, I've been able to get my body back to normality. So it's not just once I've done this, guys. This is the second time I've been able to do it. Admittedly, I don't believe I had what was in there before, and I'm going to do this in the hope that you understand. I don't want to call in that word at the moment. I'm like very cautious of the language because I'm manifesting instantly. So again, my message was in my mess. I sat there and created a whole program, which is now known as the Self-Love Club membership. That program was created off of my mess. How I healed my physical vessel, what I did, how I then energetically connected into my ascension and my awakening journey, how I am now the person that looks back at you, how I can beautifully and authentically resonate with Keith, although I've never met him. I will do when I eventually get to New Zealand though. You know, I've never met Keith. He's the other side of the world to me, but I look at the language he's using and I'm like, I get where he's at. I get where he's at. He's heartbroken. I get that. And I appreciate all of your vulnerability, Keith. But no, it is your shadow that is wanting to hold you back. I call shadow ego sometimes. Okay? Same. Your shadow wants you to sit in the fear. Your shadow wants you to sit in the victim. Why? Because what if you say, like, what if you do what Lucy did and say, I'm sorry, I'm getting on that plane. I'm not taking it on anymore. I can't take it on anymore. I've had this since I was 16. You know, and I got on that plane. 19 years down the line, I got on the plane. You know? And that's when I rewired my whole life. What if, Keith, and I'm throwing this out to you because you've been so beautifully vulnerable today, and I know that this is going to help everybody. Whenever I do these kind of like intervention things, people go, oh my gosh, I get it. So Keith, what if you have to step back from your loved ones for you to step into your version of Lucy? And I don't mean literally me, but step into your truth, step into your power, step into your true awakening journey, step into your warrior, step into that incredible Maori energy where you literally just rise up and you're like, you know what, we got this. Because I wouldn't be the person that I am here today if I hadn't got on the damn plane. If I hadn't got on the plane and I hadn't left everything. And I want to be honest with you guys, literally a year before I got on that plane, I'd lost my granddad. My granddad was my life at that period. My granddad was my dad, you know, because I wasn't speaking with my dad at that period of time. My granddad was my world. Don't get me wrong, I love my mum, I love my dad, but my granddad was my world. And as I shared last week, it was like I had a conversation with him for 40 minutes on the phone. He was my world. But I had to literally just take these messages that I was getting and do something about it. Guys, I sat there a couple of days ago when I had some peace for the first time, like I literally had some alone time for the first time in a long time. I sat there and I thought to myself, right, universe, I'm not calling this in. I'm not calling this in, but I want to reflect. I want to look back over how my life would look like if I hadn't got on the plane. Now, there's a couple of timelines that I see. So I meditated on it and I looked at it, and I suggest you guys do this. Just make sure you're setting boundaries with what you're calling in right now. Manifestation is happening like this, good, bad, and ugly. We're manifesting it all. So please be extremely, extremely cautious with the way that you're communicating. I sat in meditation and I was showing two timelines. One timeline was I was going to stay working in corporate and I was actually going to die because I wasn't going to get the lesson. So why on earth would I have stayed on the planet if I wasn't going to get my soul mission? Now, if you know anybody recently that quite young has passed, or, you know, remember this message. Sometimes if they're not getting it, sometimes if they're not going to create their purpose, they will go. But other times their purpose is through their death. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about death today, just because it came up quite a lot before I jumped on here. The second timeline that I was shown was that I was going to continue this spiral, and I was going to get very, 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 very sick. Although I was already, not very well beforehand, and I had all of these different things going on, I was going to get seriously sick. And at that point, I was going to remember what I came down here for, and I was going to learn to heal. But thankfully, at 35 years of age in 2014, I made the commitment and I decided, do you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. My victim mode had to stop. I literally had to pull myself together. It was in October 2013, actually. That was only a few months after my granddad's death. I was in Thailand and I connected with some people that activated my awakening. And I sat there and I said to myself, no more victim. No more victim. It has to stop here. Because I was, even though I didn't know it at the time, and even in 2013, October 2013, I had no recollection or connection to this. But right now I look back and I'm like, blimey, I was holding on to it. I was so connected and attached to my dis-ease that I was creating more. And it's not ever an intentional thing. When I say to people, like, you've got to divorce that, they say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not attached to it. And instantly I'm like, much more than you feel. I had a lady once shout at me at one of my, was it at my seminars or on an online seminar? I can't remember, but she shouted at me massively because I called her on the fact that she was clinging on to her disease because it got her attention. Now think about it. Think about it. I was 16 years of age when, I learned about my sister. And like I say, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I have been able to learn so much from her. Then a few years down the line, I start getting sick. And of course, that was when I would get the attention. My mum would come to the hospital with me, pick me up after my operations, and work would, obviously not when I was 20, but like mid-20s when I was at work would like, yeah, you take the week off if you've got to have an operation. I was constantly in hospital. And what I now know is because I hadn't been getting any attention, my body, my physical body was trying to say, look, you need love, you need attention, you need a really, really beautiful connection that you are sacrificing because you're not letting people know what's going on with you, but you're getting it through the hospitals, through your broken bones, through your, and now I have such an epiphany about it. Because I wouldn't dare say, Mum, do you know what? I just want to spend some time with you when we're not speaking about X, Y, and Z. But everybody's doing the best they can. My mum was going through a divorce, that brings in huge amounts of challenges. I didn't want to put any burden on her. Like, some of this will resonate with you. So you just keep going. And by just keep going on, this is when we call in the emotional trauma that has been activated in our body. And that's why, for me, every amount of emotional trauma is around, every single dis-ease, break, fly, bite, or whatever, it's always about emotional trauma. It's always, every single place. And what's so funny, I was speaking to a girlfriend of mine in America yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, I keep getting bitten on my ankles and my feet by these things. And I'm like, okay, let's look at the emotional trauma. She was like, no, everybody gets them. And I was like, let's look at the emotional trauma. My girlfriend that came over on Friday, she has got this goiter that's come up in her neck on the right-hand side. And again, I was like, do you want to look at the energetics around it? You don't have to. And she was like, yeah, I wanted to pick your brains on it. Like, what do you think? And I spoke her through everything, like all of the energetics around it. She's like, oh, okay. And it's a tough pill to swallow that you're manifesting your own sickness. It's a real tough pill to swallow. But just like you're manifesting your own sickness, you can manifest your own reality. A lot of people have been talking to me about dreams recently. Oh my gosh, vivid dreams. Oh my gosh, profound dreams. Oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh my gosh, that's happening. You are being shown right now many different timelines that you could have picked, many different timelines that you could be living on, many different, many different options. And for most people, it's coming through dream state because perhaps you're not ready to connect to this kind of thing when you're awake or like stuff like that. So welcome it in. And you get to decide, is that the reality you choose or not? If the answer is no, then change your thoughts. Look at the words that you're using. Are you using conscious language? How are you actually behaving? What do you like when your mind's going off and creating a big drama in your head, or like really stepping into victim mode? Catch it and say to yourself, is this really the vibration that I'm choosing to live in? Do I really choose to live here, or is it time to create my reality? Real is what we are all asking for. I don't know about you, but it's one of my journaling points every day. Real. No more illusion. Real. How many of you are getting frustrated? And again, please use conscious language here. But how many of you are getting frustrated seeing the psyops and the distractions and all of that noise about this and about lots of other things right now? How many of you are getting frustrated with not being able to just go to the goddamn airport and hop on a plane? I got very clear guidance about Mexico again this morning. I don't know what's happening there, but something's calling me hard. So please, please, please remember, if you are tired of it, that's okay. Acknowledge it. Do you know what? Yes. But what is your reality going to look like? What is it that you choose for your reality? Right now, you need to figure out what you can get connected to. What is it that you can get connected to that is going to help that reality? And if you know, oh, I love that clip. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. If you're somebody like myself, very recently, you guys know I've completely changed my direction. All of my lives, all of my YouTube videos, I've been putting loads of content out this week, guys, and hopefully we're going to be able to keep doing it, because hopefully I'll be in my apartment on Friday. Please keep everything crossed for me. And as long as I've got somewhere where I can just throw out a lot more content, which is just so exciting. The reason I've changed the direction with my content recently is it has to be high vibration. Like today, I need to get you guys into alignment with whatever you are sitting in, whether it's an emotion, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a thought. It's got to be for the greater good of the collective, because otherwise you are calling that in. And I'm not saying that you can't feel sad, like if somebody passes or whatever. I'm not saying that you can't feel sad and feel a bit of a victim. That's okay. Give yourself a time period to sit in that emotion, and then we move. Okay, it might be a week, it might be a month, depends who it is, I guess, right? You're always going to miss them. My granddad passed in 2013. I miss him every day. My nan passed 18 years ago, maybe 19 years ago now, and I miss her every single day. My granddad, my dad's dad, passed 22 and a half years ago, right? I miss him every day. Like, that's not going to change, ever. It's never going to change. So what we need to do is figure out a way that we can love them and we can embrace them and we can connect with them, rather than sitting in the low vibration that stops that connection. Once you allow yourself to connect, and once you allow yourself to communicate properly, you can get the gifts. Like, you can find somebody who can literally channel the information from your grandparents. You can literally you can literally sit there and ask for comments in. It's so important. It's so important that we are having these beautiful, beautiful conversations and allowing those on the other side to connect with us. You are holding you back. All of you are holding you back. Anything that you are not prepared to surrender is holding you back. And I know each and every one of you want the world, and you deserve the world. Connect with how you are feeling constantly. Do what I do. I've got a journal around me or my phone constantly. If I get a wave come over me of, oh my gosh, I feel really sad, I document it. Okay, what was I doing at the moment I felt sad? Is it I'm tapping into a past life trauma? Am I tapping into a past experience? Okay? Recognize it all. Keith, why am I feeling so heartbroken? What is it about this? Have I felt abandoned before? Was I abandoned before? Have I had to isolate before? Like, tap into that, because you can be like, that's where I'm picking up that memory from. That's why this feels comfortable for me. It feels comfortable for me to sit in this, rather than saying, you know what, maybe this is going to up level me. I do not want you to turn into emotionless robots. Please don't think I'm saying that. But you get to decide right now. We are living in a period of time where we can manifest anything. We can literally manifest whatever it is that we choose. So decide what it is. It doesn't mean that you don't love your family. Doesn't mean that you're not going to miss them. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a lot of sadness from time to time. But when the waves of sadness come, we must be able to connect with them. So connecting to self. My nan only passed last week, and she has already connected with me, as I've been asked her to send precise signs. Beautiful. I think you might remember, Gemma, and I know I messaged you privately, but I'm sending you so much love for your nan, darling, and she will so be walking by your side. Just give her a bit of time to get some strength. But literally instantly that I found out my uncle died, there were angels in the sky, because I kept saying, please just give me a sign that you're safe. Please just give me a sign that you are okay. And it's so important. It's so important that you ask that, get that validation. And I actually saw an angel this morning when I was coming back in. I saw an angel up in the sky in a cloud. It's really beautiful. So ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. Gemma, I don't question, there's probably a lot of emotion. There's, I know how close you were to her. I feel it's very, very important to allow these emotions, allow this flow. We are living a human experience right now. However, look, do take the action that Gemma has been doing. Please connect in with me. Whenever you're ready, please connect in with me. I am ready to hear from you. I'm ready to know that you are safe. I am ready to be the vessel that can keep you connected with the family. And actually, what a lot of the spirits have been saying to me recently, and I haven't forgotten that I'll come back to the telepathy in a minute, Cliff. What a lot of the spirits have been saying to me recently, don't let so-and-so forget me. Don't let the family forget me. And I think that's a really important message. We are going to be seeing a lot of deaths. I've had a lot of people messaging me over the weekend, and I was contemplating quite a lot before I got on here today. We are going to see a lot of death, guys. We are, and I'm sorry to say it. People that are passing are choosing their path, and we must honour them for that. We've got older people passing, that makes total sense. When older people pass, we get it. They've lived their life. Maybe they've come down with something, or maybe they've had sickness, maybe they've had children, maybe they've had grandchildren, and we kind of get it. However, when it's somebody younger, when it's somebody in their 30s or their 40s or a child, it's awful. It's far more difficult to comprehend how the world can be so cruel. So this is where we have to say, please shine the light, bring us back into what the whole purpose of them having to leave the earth plane was. And look at it. My uncle, when he passed, was mid-60s. Way too young. He had brain tumours, and and it was blood clots that actually killed him. Now, there was obviously, my family were devastated. I actually dealt with it really, really, really well. And The reason I dealt with it really well is because I knew that his soul journey this lifetime was to wake my family up to the truth, because they won't listen to me. That side of the family just won't listen to me at all, and that's okay. I get it. But since his passing, especially since I got the messages that I got a couple of weeks ago now, I've been able to have really beautiful, authentic conversations with my mum about the messages that he gave to me, because they're not coming from me. And I was saying things and I'm like, I don't know anything about this, but they've told me this so that you know that it was them. And obviously, when I know things that I shouldn't know, people listen. Okay? So make sure that we are connecting with this right now. Everybody has a soul contract. Everybody is living out their soul contract. Your loved ones may be somebody that is going to catapult the awakening on the planet, because they went, do you know what? I'm happy to give my life this lifetime so that my loved ones remain safe. So we need to be contemplating. It's a word that keeps coming up for me today. We need to be contemplating. We need to be feeling into it. We need to be recognizing that all of this is about us remembering what we came here to do. People say to me all the time, but Lucy, what's my purpose? This journey should be helping all of you recognize your purpose. All of you. Maybe I'll do a session on purpose in a couple of weeks or something. In fact, I'm going to write that down. If somebody can remind me, Keith, maybe if you can remind me at some point, if you don't mind, honey. I feel, or maybe I'll do a video on it, but I feel we need to talk about purpose, because everybody's got this like massive grand idea, you know, like, because I speak about my purpose and I know that I'm here to, you know, connect people back to their eternal truth and remind people of what they've got inside of them and remind people of love and self-love and that. And it's quite a big purpose. Actually, purpose is something very different to that. So I'd like to roll us back and just bring it into your consciousness and have, maybe I'll do it as a live actually, because I think it would be nice to have a discussion around, you know, your views on purpose and what I share, whether it actually sits right with you. Okay, because again, Joe's put, I'd love to know my purpose. You know, and there are so many people out there. Literally, I get messages all day, every day around purpose. So yeah, maybe I will do. I'm actually going to look. Not this week coming, because obviously I'm not in my apartment and I'm going to my mum's. I've got stuff I need to do this week. So maybe next week when I'm in and I'm settled, I am going to start to do 2 YouTube lives a week. YouTube seems to be being okay with me at the moment. My interaction is quite low because I don't monetize my channel. But I'm thinking that if I can just get things moving even more and putting more content out on YouTube, that maybe, because I'm going to be doing stuff of the light rather than, you know, the truth of stuff, maybe we can really start building and having a community here on YouTube, because it's very, very, very important. I am being massively shadow banned on both FaceAche and Instagram. It's so funny. On FaceAche, I get to about 12 minutes and my video is just cut. It's very, very interesting. And Instagram, it depends what I'm doing as to whether I'm getting the interaction or not. I'm being blocked in such a big way. But you know what? I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to keep shifting it up and I'm just going to keep changing the platforms that I am living in. Anyway, let's quickly go back to Cliff's dream about telepathy. So very, very important, if you are dreaming right now, as soon as you wake up in the morning, write it down if you remember it. Because trust me, once you've got out of bed and you've gone to the toilet and you've had a glass of water, trust me, you're not going to remember what your dream was, or not quite the power and the intensity. So if you are somebody that desperately needs the toilet when you get out of bed, take your journal with you and write whilst you're on the toilet or something like that. Just please, please, please start tracking it. We are coming back online with our telepathic communications. We are. I'm actually doing a meditation. I'm not guiding the meditation. I'm doing an energetic meditation, what I call an energetic meditation. What that means to me, and what I mean by that is basically you will meditate on your own, but you will envisage that you are at a said location. Tomorrow we're doing Glastonbury and the tour in Glastonbury, which is the hill with the building on it. So if you want to join us tomorrow, 9 p.m. UK time. So that's 6 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, 6 a.m. in Melbourne. Is it 2 or 3 hours difference between there and Perth at the moment? Say 3, 5 a.m. in Perth, 6 a.m. one or the other, I'm not too sure, on the West Coast. Obviously, it's 9 p.m. here. It will be midnight in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. It will be 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then 1, I think, in on the West Coast of America. So figure out your time zone, but 9 p.m. UK time tomorrow evening, that's Monday, the 30th of August, we are going to be dropping into a space of meditation at that time. And then we're literally going to connect in with each other in Glastonbury at the tour. Now, what tends to happen with this is we all meet up. So because most of you know me and you connect through me, this is something that I'm doing in my self-love club with Lucy Davis group on Facebook, and I'm going to pop it in my Telegram group. It's there. Okay, so we're going to be pulling this energy together. So most of you will be like, I'm just going to look for Lucy. And when you see me, you will just go on a huge journey. Whatever you need to see, you will be shown. Okay, whatever the messages are for you, you will receive it. Now, always when I do this, I put out some telepathic messages. And I basically say, if anybody sees this, please bring it to me. Like, please raise it up in the chat box. And I put a few things out like that, and it's profound. It is profound, the amount of people that will be like, I don't know why, Lucy, I just feel like I need to tell you that I saw this. And I'm like, thank you. That's one of the messages I put out. Thank you for tapping into your telepathy. Okay, this is why we're doing it. If, God forbid, the internet goes down, if, God forbid, you cannot contact me and you're like, oh my gosh, like Lucy told us that this stuff was going to happen, but what do we do now? It's, you know, what we tend to do when the shit really hits the fan, we kind of forget, don't we? So before I got kicked out of Face Ache, I used to do this at least once a week, more often than not twice a week. We would literally go to a place, meditate, and I would help people increase their telepathy, you know, because this is an important skill that we're stepping back into. We have completely forgotten that people like myself can literally read our thoughts. There are people out there that can read energy. You might not be able to read the thoughts, but you can read the energy. There are people out there that just walk in a room and go, something doesn't feel quite right. They don't know what it is, but again, that's reading the energy. So it is extremely, extremely important that we recognize that we have this gift. And Cliff, what this suggests to me is that your telepathy is coming back online. You have chosen that you are ready for the telepathy to come back online. Start when you're out and about and you're doing things, or maybe when you're around your loved ones, see if you can start picking up on the thoughts behind maybe what they're speaking about. It's like going to the gym. You've got to exercise that muscle. Okay, if you want to have guns, you know, if you want to have guns, you've got to exercise that muscle. You can't sit at home eating McDonald's. Oh my gosh, just quickly tangent. I went on a big long walk last night, and there was a queue to get into McDonald's that was about 50 cars long. I was disgusted. How are people still not getting it? Anyway, that's just my own little projection there. I just wanted to share that with you. But my point is, what I would be doing and what I did when I started recognizing that I had a really interesting situation when I was in Thailand. I really, really do hold Thailand accountable for a lot of my awakening, and I'm so grateful to it, by the way. I basically heard a lady's thoughts. Literally, I heard a lady's thoughts and I responded to her because I thought she was asking me a question. She was totally freaked out by it. I was totally freaked out by it as well. But this is what I did after that, Cliff. Once I kind of put myself off it for a while, but literally just, okay, what is this person really saying? What is this person thinking? And maybe you've got some people that you're close to, whether a best friend or a partner or whatever, tap into what it is and be vulnerable with them and just say, hey, I don't know, but I'm picking up this. Is that anywhere near what you're thinking? Don't let your ego get involved. Okay, we like to be a control freak. Like, we've all been born into a world where we've had a load of control freaks around us, and so what we need to be doing, we must step up and recognize that we need to tap into this, because this is going to be about unpicking what happens when you can utilize telepathy. Is you notice that everybody around you becomes more pure. Everybody. Because I'll say, like I say to my mum, I know you don't necessarily believe in some of these things being true or being pure. However, I know things that I shouldn't know. So please know that whatever you're thinking, I'm going to pick up on it. And it becomes a very, very honest space of communication. I have to have this conversation when I'm dating people. Please know that I have some weird gifts. I tell them that they're weird, they're not, they're brilliant. I have these things, and the thing that I value the most is utmost honesty. If I'm pissing you off, you tell me. If I'm being unreasonable, you tell me. Let's have a conversation about it. Because this is how we get back onto telepathy. We will be at a place in our world where we are going to either choose to speak or choose to use telepathy. But right now, the reason we don't use telepathy is so many people fib. They tell lies. They fabricate because it makes them look better, or it makes them feel better, more importantly. So what's really quite interesting, I had no idea before I got on here what I was going to speak about. I never do. I knew death was going to come up a little bit because that was something that I needed to raise the consciousness on. But I wrote down the word connection and communication, and I was like, no idea where they've come from, but clearly something's going to make sense when they come out. And I love it, Cliff. Your intuition has gone. I need to tell Lucy about my telepathy, because I spoke about dreams. So Lucy spoke about dreams that activated Cliff's intuition. Oh, I need to tell her about telepathy. That's then brought me back into the communication. When you have pure communication, you will absolutely be able to utilize these God-given gifts that we've all got. Some people will be looking at Cliff now going, I want to be Cliff, I want to be telepathic, like I want to know. No, it will come to you when you're ready. What do they say? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's exactly the same principle. When the student is ready, the gifts come online. You all have all of this within you. You can all connect to spirit. You can all see spirit. You can all feel spirit. Let me know in the chat box, maybe with a heart, because we love the hearts. Let me know in the chat box with a heart if you have ever had a bit of a gut reaction, whether it was a good or a bad one. You've had like a little, oh gosh, that gut reaction. Have any of you ever felt it? Pop it in the chat box. Let's see how many of you have. Because that gut reaction means that you can feel. It means that you're clairsentient. It means that you can feel spirit. It means that you can feel intuition. It means that you are being guided. Now, just imagine if all of you were taught how to utilize that feeling. Why do you think they want our gut loaded with so much crap? Because if our gut is loaded with crap, loads of you, you're all like, yes, me. Well done, you've got gifts. That feeling is your guides, your angels, your whatever communicating with you, which is why the powers that be that choose to hold us back, the ones that are choosing to take us down a path that is not our choice, but we are consenting by continuing on that path. They want us to eat the takeaways. They want us to eat the fried food. People say to me, my girlfriend that I lived with in Bournemouth for a little while, she said to me, I can't get over like how good you are with your food. And I'm like, well, when you connect, there's no way that you can ever go back. Don't get me wrong, every now and again I'll have, you know, something sweet or whatever, but it's very, very, very rare. I will always find something, even going out for dinner on Friday night, I will always find something that is okay. I will always find something that I can eat because I become creative. I become creative with these things and I'm not scared to ask the question. I'm not scared to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm coming to you for dinner. Can I like mix up a few of your dishes because I'm plant-based? Like nobody ever has a problem with that. Sorry, I just knocked the table on my laptop. It was like, ah, it wasn't just some weird alien thing. You know, you've got to communicate. Keep your gut as clear as possible. Yeah, I know. And you know what? Everybody was like, oh my God, you were so drunk. I was like, no, I wasn't. I really wasn't. But we were so high on life. We were so high on life. We had such a giggle on Friday. I mean, if any of you saw the video, I believe it got taken down. I don't know what word I must have said, but I must have said something that triggered it because, you know, like I did this video on Friday. I was so happy. I'd been in a restaurant, literally nobody was even wearing those to walk in. I was in such a happy space, right? Like literally, I was so happy. I was with one of my best girlfriends. We'd had really incredible food. We'd connected. Like this Indian man that was on the next door table to me, he was there with his wife and his two children. Like he came over afterwards and he was like, oh, it's so nice to see you out. I hope you have a really beautiful, like I've never been to this place before. I don't know who he is from Adam, but he came over and he was just like, I hope you girls have a really nice time, because we were laughing, we were conversing, we were like, it was just constant, and we were putting it out to the universe. So everybody around us was feeling it as well. And the table just kind of back here, we ended up talking to them, and this lady was like, you've got to try my sorbet, you've got to try my sorbet, it's amazing. And she's literally given me her spoon with her sorbet on, you know, and I'm like, who does that in a, you know, one of those demic things? Who does that? You wouldn't be doing it. And it was just so wonderful to be living a normal life for the evening. And I'm so grateful that I got to experience that. Because as you guys know, I don't really like to buy into or, you know, into this whole situation. But where I am, you know, people just they're just not buying into it. You know, there's a few very, 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 a few people that are wearing masks and stuff, but that's it. And it's so refreshing to see people standing up and to see people enjoying themselves and to see people wanting to connect. And I'll be honest with you, I left there, my belly was full and I was high on life. I was high on life and I just wanted to share with my loved ones, because anybody that follows me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you're my loved ones. You know, you are my loved ones. You are my soul family. And I want to remind you, it's good to have fun. I mean, you guys don't get to see the best of me, honestly. Honestly, I'm so cheeky. Like, because I do these videos and they're kind of serious, but, you know, I chat with you and you see me laugh a lot and all the rest of it, but you don't get to see the best of me. There is a real side to me that is just cheeky as, and I just flirt with life. Honestly, I am probably the most prolific flirt with life. And I'm not saying with men, I'm saying with life. I love it so much. I feel so grateful that I was put in this vessel. I feel so grateful that I am here living this experience. I feel so grateful for everything, good, bad, ugly, that we've been through. I feel so grateful that I'm experiencing this, and I'm experiencing this utter tiredness and exhaustion and fatigue that is taking place because we are doing this shit. I'm grateful for all of it. I'm not just grateful for the good bits. I'm grateful for all of it. However, when I'm in a state of bliss, like I was on Friday, I want to share that with you guys, because when I share it with you, what happens to you? People think that I was drunk. People laugh. You know, people have been messaging me going, oh my God, I've not laughed that much in ages. Oh my God, you were on form on Friday. Good. So you got the good vibrations. It actually does you good to be around people that just giggle and that just laugh and that are a little bit like I am a little bit cheeky. You know, I'm just cheeky when I'm in a real state of bliss, and when I'm with my besties, you know, I can just be me. I can be Lucy. I can be human Lucy. And that's what you guys saw on Friday. For any of you that saw it, I'm sorry that it didn't get saved, but you know, it is what it is. And we had a wonderful night. We had a wonderful night. It was well overdue. We've both committed to doing it at least once every couple of months now. So that's really, really exciting. Very, very important. I've got 2 last messages. There's so much more that I was going to share with you, but clearly we've done everything that we needed to do. 2 more things that I'd like you to, in fact, there's 3. First things first, there's always more. First things first, focus on love. Really leads on nicely from what I was sharing about Friday, okay? Be around people that are happy. Yes, good. I'm pleased about that, Cliff. Really, really, really focus on love. Focus on light, focus on happiness, be around the people that make you laugh. I'm not really following anybody at the moment that is talking about the truth and stuff. I know what's going on, you know, and that's not me being arrogant or ignorant or whatever, or being cognitive dissonant. I know what's going on. Now it's time to create what we're going to, from my perspective. You guys do you, but just make sure that you're focusing on the highest vibration and for the good of humanity. Everything I'm calling in right now, I'm calling in for the greatest good of humanity. I'm not just doing it for me. You know, this is for the greatest good of humanity. The second thing is there are a lot of people being attacked right now. I'm not going to share who, but somebody very, very close to me recently has been attacked in a big way, to the point that I was actually removing shrapnel from them last night, which was extremely interesting. Please protect yourself more than ever. Yes, Meredith, I will do. I need to look it out. Her name is Louise. I need to look it out. And in fact, you've raised a good point. The lady in the UK does not do anything online. So apologies. I've had so many messages about it, but she just doesn't do anything online, guys. So huge apologies about that. You know, I spoke with her, and I probably should have spoken with her before I spoke about it, because I know when I say something, there's loads of people that want it. Leave it with me, Meredith. If I don't have the number, one of my girlfriends in America does, because she recommended her to me. And I don't want to give you her surname in case I've got it wrong. So I will find her surname, and then I will share it, and I will check in with my girlfriend Katrina if I don't have the details. But I'm sure I'll be able to find it, because me and her went on a huge journey. You can imagine a medium and me. We went on this huge journey, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm going to see you in the astral realm from here on." Like literally, this is any spiritual experience I go on, it turns into a massive journey. So I've made a note of it, babe. I'm not going to be able to do it straight after this, but I will later on today. I will look into it. All right, just because I've got to get out, which is why I had to change the time. So please protect yourself more than ever right now. See yourself in that beautiful gold or whatever color bubble of light. See yourself with a cloak of light all over you. Protect yourself more than ever. If you know somebody is going through something right now, send them protection, send them love. Because like I say, there are some very, 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 you know, high spiritual people that are being attacked right now. So we must protect ourselves. We must protect our loved ones. Obviously, if you are offering protection to somebody, make sure that you say, you know, if their soul is willing to protect this, take this protection, accept this protection. Because some people, they have a soul contract that needs to be attacked for whatever reason. But, you know, like, just do your thing. Do your thing, protect yourself. We are literally in the dark nights right now, okay? As she says, with glorious sunshine for once. To be fair, we've still got that bubbly cloud going over, but hey ho. The last thing that these words came through me like a train this morning, and I was like, is this for my self-love club membership? Is this for my Sunday service? And the message was yes. So the last message of the day is observe everything. Consume nothing. Observe everything. Consume nothing. I don't think there has ever been a more relevant statement that has come out of my mouth. Honestly, this literally just came out of nowhere today, and I was like, okay, you want me to hand that to Sunday service? And the answer was yes. Observe everything. Consume nothing. Remember that. Keith, remember that. All of you, remember that. Observe it all. If you are observing and you're taking it on, do not no longer observe it. Okay? We are not to consume. This is a mass cleansing on the planet. We are not to consume. Okay? please, please, please document it, write it on your phone, put it wherever you need it, tell everyone about it. Let's get that going. Observe everything, consume nothing. I love you all to the moon and stars. This video will be available very, very shortly. Thank you for sharing. I love the fact that it's been the boys that are sharing today, right? We've got Cliff that's shared beautifully. We've got Keith that shared beautifully. Thank you for stepping up, guys. I really, really, really appreciate it. I love the masculine energy that's coming through. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a really, really cool round table with the divine masculine, because it's time, it's time, it's time. I love you. Happy Sunday. Have a good day.